skinny kid with a funny name could make much of a difference. But Barack started talking to people. He urged them to start working on the change they wanted to see. Soon, slowly, folks started coming together to fight for job training programs and better schools and safer housing for their families. Slowly, the neighborhood started to turn around. Little by little, people started feeling hopeful again. And that made Barack feel hopeful. And I had a similar experience in my own career. Like my husband, I came from a modest background. My parents saved and sacrificed everything they had so that I could get an education. And when I graduated, got a job at a big, fancy law firm. Nice salary, big office. My friends were impressed. My family was proud. By all accounts, I was living the dream. But I knew something was missing. I knew I didn't want to be way up in some tall building, all alone in an office writing memos. I wanted to be down on the ground working with kids, helping families put food on the table and a roof over their heads. So I left that job for a new job, training young people like yourselves for careers in public service. I was making a lot less money. My office wasn't so nice. But every day, I got to watch those young people gain skills and build confidence. And then I saw them go on to mentor and inspire other young people. And that made me feel inspired. It still does. See, my husband and I, we didn't change any laws. We didn't win any awards, get our pictures in the paper. But we were making a difference in people's lives. We were part of something greater than ourselves. And we knew that in our own small way, we were helping to build a better world. And that is precisely what so many young people are doing every day across this continent. These 76 young women are outstanding examples. Take Ibelo Dandal from here in South Africa. She left a lucrative career in investment banking to found the Future of the African Daughter Project, an organization that lifts up young women in rural and township areas. Of her work, she says, "We are building a legacy which will outlive and outgrow us." And then there's Robin Creel. She's a young reporter from Zimbabwe who has written about corruption and human rights abuses in her country. She was beaten by police, her home raided, her mother imprisoned. But she still hasn't lost her passion for reporting because, as she put it, the people of Zimbabwe want their stories to be told. And then there's Grace Nanyanga, who joins us today from Uganda. Hey, Grace. You go, girl. Orphaned at the age of 13, she started cooking and selling fish during her school vacations to support her 6 siblings. Determined to get an education, she founded her own company, and she made enough money to put herself through university. And she's now started an organization that trains local women to work at her company so that they can support their own families. Of her achievements, she says simply, these are her words, "I made it against all odds, and I want to be an example for girls in my country and beyond." Now, Grace could have been content to make lots of money and just provide for her own family. Ibelo could have climbed the corporate ladder and never looked back. Where is she? Please stand. Grace got to stand. Come on, where is she? Is she out there? And no one would have blamed Robin. Where's Robin? No one would have blamed Robin if, after all she'd been through, she decided to quit reporting and pursue an easier career. But these young women, and these are just examples of stories that go on and on, these young women could not be content with their own comfort and success when they knew that other people were struggling. You see, that's how people of conscience view the world. It's the belief, as my husband often says, that if any child goes hungry, that matters to me even if she's not my child. If any family is devastated by disease, then I cannot be content with my own good health. If anyone is persecuted because of how they look or what they believe, then that diminishes my freedom and threatens my rights as well. And in the end, that sense of interconnectedness, that depth of compassion, that determination to act in the face of impossible odds, those are the qualities of mind and heart that I hope will define your generation. I hope that all of you will reject the false comfort that others' suffering is not your concern. Or if you can't solve all the world's problems, then you shouldn't even try. Instead, as one of our great American presidents, Teddy Roosevelt, liked to say, I hope that you will commit yourselves to doing what you can with what you've got where you are. Because in the end, that is what makes you a lion. Not fortune, not fame, not your pictures in history books, but the refusal to remain a bystander when others are suffering. And that commitment to serve however you can where you are. Now, it will not be easy. You women know that already. You will have failures and setbacks and critics and plenty of moments of frustration and doubt. But if you ever start to lose heart, I brought you all here today because I want you to think of each other. Think about Grace supporting her family by herself. And think about Robin, who endured that beating so she could tell other people's stories. Think about Masi Sulu, raising her kids alone, surviving banishment, exile, and prison. You know, when reflecting on her journey, Masi Sulu once said with her signature humility, she said, all these years, I never had a comfortable life. So you may not always have a comfortable life. And you will not always be able to solve all the world's problems all at once. But don't ever underestimate the impact you can have. Because history has shown us that courage can be contagious. And hope can take on a life of its own. It's what happens when folks start asking questions. A father asks, why should my son go to school but not my daughter? Or a mother asks, why should I pay a bribe to start a business to support my family? Or a student stands up and declares, yes, I have HIV, and here's how I'm treating it, and here's how we can stop it from spreading. See, and then soon, they inspire others to start asking questions. They inspire others to start stepping forward. And those are the ripples of hope that a young U.S. Senator named Robert Kennedy spoke of when he came here to South Africa 45 years ago this month. In his words, he said, "The numberless diverse acts of courage and belief which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance." And that is how a church can become a parliament. That is how a hymn can be a call to action. That is how a group of young people with nothing more than handmade signs and a belief in their own God-given potential can galvanize a nation. That's how young people around the world can inspire each other and draw strength from each other. I'm thinking today of the young activist who gathered at the American Library here in Soweto to read the speeches of Dr. Martin Luther King for their inspiration. I'm thinking of how Dr. King drew inspiration from Chief Lutulu and the young people here in South Africa. And I'm thinking about how young South Africans singing the American Civil Rights Anthem, "We Shall Overcome," in the streets of Cape Town and Durban. And I'm thinking of how Nkosi Sikelel' Africa echoed through university campuses in the U.S. as students, including my husband, planned boycotts to support students here in South Africa. And I'm thinking of this church and how those stained windows depicting the struggle were donated by the people of Poland, and how the peace pole in the park outside was donated by people from Japan, and how every week visitors from every corner of the globe come here to bear witness and draw inspiration from your history. And finally, I'm thinking of the history of my own country. America won its independence more than 2 centuries ago. It has been nearly 50 years since the victories of our own civil rights movement. Yet we still struggle every day to perfect our union and live up to our ideals. And every day, it is our young people who are leading the way. They are the ones enlisting in our military. They're the ones teaching in struggling schools, volunteering countless hours in countless ways in communities. And in this last presidential election, they were engaged in our democracy like never before. They studied the issue, followed the campaign, knocked on doors in the freezing snow and the blazing sun, urging people to vote. They waited in line for hours to cast their ballots. And I have seen that same passion, that same determination to serve in young people I have met all across the world. From India to El Salvador, from Mexico to the United Kingdom, to here in South Africa. So today, I want you to know that as you work to lift up your families, your communities, your countries, and your world, know that you are never alone. You are never alone. As Bobby Kennedy said here in South Africa all those years ago, you are joined with fellow young people in every land. They struggling with their problems and you with yours, but all joined in a common purpose, determined to build a better future. And if any one of you ever doubts that you can build that future, if anyone ever tells you that you shouldn't or you can't, then I want you to say with one voice, the voice of a generation, you tell them, yes, we can. What do you say? Yes, we can. What do you say? Yes, we can. What do you say? Yes, we can. Thank you all so much. God bless you.